So, Acolyte has been canceled. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not surprised. Now, one of the most frustrating things with regards to discussing about this topic is the fact that you have a certain subset of fans who are hating on it for totally heinous reasons. They're misogynistic, racist, homophobic, etc. And you have a subset of fans who are offering legitimate criticism for the writing on the show, how they did everything. And it's like hard to talk about it. It's similar to the feeling I had when I was talking about the first season of Power of the Ring, where there were some legit issues with that, but there were a lot of people hating on it because they had, girl power or whatever. And so I wasn't surprised when I heard it was canceled. And but I think a lot of people are blaming it on things that aren't deserving. Um, and I know JD, you had some of the same thoughts. I don't know how you felt about the show, if you even watched it. But I know
I
JD,
did
some of
watch
the
it. I watched
oh,
every
you did.
episode.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know what you two think, especially coming from both being Star Wars fans and you know all that.
I'll let JD start.
Yeah.
I think we have to be careful when we say there's a subset of fans because that is true. But I think the problem in this day of social media is that this
Hmm.
little tiny portion of the racist, misogynistic people get their comments and everything get magnified way more than what they are. And so then what I
Hmm.
think happened is that these filmmakers see this, and then Leslie Headland and Amanda see that, and they think, "Oh my God, it's the world of the Star Wars fandom hate," and it's not. It's a small fraction of people that are shit that say dumb things, but then they turn around and use that as an excuse for why something got canceled. And newsflash to them, I don't care if they had the viewing numbers. Disney wouldn't give two shits about canceling that thing. If it was making the numbers, Disney would be like paying them all day. Hey, we're doing another season, whatever. We're going to give you another
Right.
180 million to do
Right.
these half hour 8 episodes. We're going to give you all the money in the world because it was very successful for us, and we don't care about the trolls, whatever. That's not what
True.
happened. The problem
Yeah.
that happened is that, in addition to the people that hate them for all the illegitimate reasons, their viewership consistently went down. And when it got time to their season finale, it was at the lowest point, and more people tuned off. So guess what? For all the people who don't know how Hollywood works or streaming, if you have a show and it keeps going down, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get picked up again. I don't care who you are. And it's not
Right.
because someone's racist or misogynist, whatever. And then here's the other thing that kills me. When I watched the show, I didn't really feel like the show was commenting on LGBTQ rights or
Right.
girl
It
power.
wasn't.
Point me to one thing that said girl power or LGBTQ right. Now, granted, there was a witch coven, and I don't even know if I'm assuming they all were kind of like lesbian because there were no men there, whatever. Whatever,
Right.
that's fine. I didn't care, but they never even dealt with that. They never even
Exactly.
went into their sexuality or anything. It was just there. I think the problem is well before the show started, Leslie Headland came out talking ish. Like, oh, we're gonna make this LGBTQ or whatever. And so she just frothed up all the knuckleheads that are gonna get all clutching their pearls and bent out of
Poking the
shape.
bear as you
Exactly.
described it.
She went in poking the bear just like Drake did Kendrick. She just kept poking, and then Amanda has some disc video track or a rap that she did. It just have a perfect storm. Like, okay, this small sliver of Star Wars fan base are assholes, so we're gonna be assholes right back to them before our shows even started. And so then what happens is that once the show starts, they're looking for the smallest, tiniest reason to flame out on this show.
Hmm.
That being said, when you sit down and watch the show, there are all these storytelling problems. First,
Right.
May wants to go. She wants to kill Osa. Then she wants to save her sister. Then she wants to go kill the Jedi. Then no, she wants to save
But
the Jedi.
before you go, is this going to be a spoiler discussion? Should we just assume it's a spoiler talk?
It's a spoiler discussion. Come
It's
on,
all
okay.
spoiler, yes.
Yeah. This is all. The show was a spoiler. The show was a spoiler. So it's all spoiler. So it's like,
Right.
but I'm just saying.
No, but it's a great point, Ron, because you know how stickler we are about spoilers.
Yeah, true,
Exactly.
true. So I'll put a
I've been
spoiler. I'll put a spoiler thing up, a banner up, saying, "Hey, a flash! This is spoiler." But the whole thing is that you have all these things going on where their storytelling was a contradiction almost every week, and then not only so there are many contradictions that just like, huh, this doesn't make any sense. I thought because on one end, I thought the lighting was beautiful. I thought some of the fight scenes were outstanding, some of the best that Star Wars has had. But
So I heard,
beautiful
yeah.
scenery, beautiful lighting, and amazing fights don't make a great show. Everything else is garbage. They build up to we got to go say. They built up to this whole thing of a First, how bad is a Jedi, a Wookiee Jedi? Everybody's excited about it, and then we're waiting for the big thing with May and the Jedi Wookiee, and we get there, and this nigga's already dead. He's in the chair, slumped over. They threw the baby out with the bathwater. And it was like that every week. They would just show inconsistencies, or they would kill or smother great things that they were trying to set up. It's like, who is running this? What is going
Right.
on? Because whoever's running this doesn't know, and it's surprising coming from Leslie Headland, because I don't want to say that she doesn't, because from what I hear, and I haven't seen her other show, but the Russian Doll show was critically acclaimed. And so everybody's thinking, oh,
Right.
she's a great storyteller. This is going to be a great show. But then when you saw what she came in with, it was problematic. And I think that speaks to a problem with Lucasfilm. Because the people at top who are running it aren't like a Kevin Feige, they don't have a vision for what they want and have guardrails to help these filmmakers stay within those guardrails. It's like they bring in quality, good storytellers and then just let them go willy-nilly anywhere they want. And I think that's what really has pissed off the Star Wars fandom. So not only do you have the racist people and the trolls, whatever, but you got another big swath of Star Wars people who have been so disheartened with the craft of Skywalker, what was the Last Jedi. You've alienated a big chunk of your audience. They're very frustrated, but to no Quinky Dink, when you look at someone like Andor, who my main man was, I don't care about Jedi, whatever. I want to tell a really good story. The main focus is on a story. If everybody sits down and they have they workshop these scripts, and they have, I don't want Kathleen Kennedy to come in and say, "Oh, Jon Favreau, you just do what you want to do," or "So and so, you do what you want to do," and then they just take it as the gospel when they show up with these crappy scripts. It's like, no, these scripts need to be workshopped. These shows need to be developed. Maybe something like what they do for Pixar, where Pixar has a think group where they have all the directors that are working on different projects help each other to say, "Hey, raise a hand. This doesn't really make sense. This is not working out," because we've seen that consistent. More often than not, we've seen that with shows. The Book of Boba Fett, horrible. Even the last season of Mandalorian fell off. There, and there's some questionable things in the prior seasons with various episodes, and there's simple things to fix, but it gets frustrating when nobody's there think taking. And they have Lucasfilm has a whole archive group that knows all the rules and everything. Like, why aren't these people being listened to? And the other frustrating thing is someone like myself who's read Star Wars books. It's like, damn, these books are so good. How are the shows so bad compared to what they have with the Legends books? It just makes me want to pull my hair out, because it's like whoever's running the show, well, we know who's running the show. It's just like they're not doing a good job.
Yeah. Yo, your
Yes.
thoughts. Thanks, JD. That's good and thankful stuff.
Well, I will say, as someone who is not following all this talk online and so forth, and JD can attest to this, as we watched, I had criticisms from start to finish.
Mm.
And I think that it was unfortunate, because I was like, the series itself had so much potential, and particularly because, for the reasons a lot of this vitriol is coming about, like the characterization, the characters and the characterizations and the storytelling allowed for a great, organic, diverse story to be told in the universe of Star Wars without even talking about it being diverse. Like, there's so many times where I've been in settings or seen film or television that has been particularly diverse. Shonda Rhimes is an excellent example, where the diversity has nothing to do with the storytelling. It just is.
Right.
And I think this show was a prime opportunity for that, and the elements were there. But unfortunately, I think the the story structure, I mean, the story structure might have been okay, but I think the story weave, I mean, I'm getting into some technicalities, but the execution of the show was not at an ultimate level for me in various ways. And there were, different things throughout the season. Some of the storytelling choices to me, and I'm not, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not one of these people who can quote you like a lot of these people, like all the different, canon and all these things about Star Wars. However, there are various things about it where I was like, this doesn't make logical sense from the standpoint of the Star Wars universe. For
Right.
instance, I think one of the biggest failures in my mind was the character played by Lee Jung Jae. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Uh, the
Soul,
their
Jedi, Soul.
Soul. Thank
Soul.
you,
Yeah.
thank you. Soul, who played Soul. Uh, I think ultimately they were able to do something. They were able to create like good dramatic conflict with his character, but they failed in the mechanisms in which they used his character to do that. And it didn't like logically follow like, Jedi tradition. And so, yes, use him as somebody who has some kind of like, human or Jedi, I don't know what their race is, flaws, but it should be in alignment with what the Jedi Order and the Jedi philosophy is. So have his mistakes be something that I can live with and say, yes, that's in keeping with how a Jedi would. And that, I'm using him as an example, but there were examples across in multiple people within the Jedi Order in the show. So it's like, what are you doing? It's just so it's unfortunate because I think again the framework and the story structure and kind of some maybe some of the outline and the overall story of what they were telling would have worked phenomenally, but some of the choices that they made of like what some of these characters were going to do and the details were problematic for me. And I will say, I don't know if I said it earlier, I feel like Amandla is an excellent actress, and I think
Yep.
that she could have brought so much more to this series if they had given her more to work with. And I think that given what she did have to work with, I don't really have an argument with her performance. I think she's a great actress. I'd love to see her do more work. I would have loved to see her do more with these two characters, but
Yep.
they didn't give her the material to do it. And
Didn't
that
one of the sisters kill
basically
the other
boils
sister?
down to my 2 cents.
No, no,
No?
no.
No.
Oh, who killed one of the sisters?
No one killed his sister.
Oh, they're both still alive?
At I thought
At
they
At the
were.
end, they're both still alive.
Yeah.
They're both
But
still alive.
there's a switch.
They
It's
assume that there's an assumption that one of them died throughout in the
Yes.
series. There's an assumption that one of them died as a child, but what ends up happening is, she finds out, oh, my twin sister's actually
Right.
still
No, I know
alive.
that, but I thought towards the
But
end, one of
at
them.
the end,
No, they don't. No, I think there's
But
a
one of them,
moment
but
where
they
they
kind of
have a. She has.
switched though in terms
There's a
of.
point.
yes.
There's a point where like there's a face off, but they don't kill each
Right.
other.
Oh, okay.
No, but
So
then she go, well, wait, I'm trying to remember now because I'm like, oh shit, did because what happens is May takes Osha's place,
Right.
and she
Yes.
gets on the ship with Soul, and at some point Soul realizes that it's not Osha, and then he locks her down, and I'm trying to remember.
But then Osha goes off
with the Sith, yeah,
he
with
becomes she becomes a bad guy essentially.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. She bleeds. We see her bleed. The lights. There's like really cool stuff. And this is the other thing that's frustrating about the show. It's almost like Leslie Headland heard things in the Star Wars folklore that are really cool concepts, and then she just used them. She put them in like remember berries, or she just pulled them in and did quick lip service to it without really setting up. So it's almost like, oh, this is really cool. I'm in the Star Wars universe, so I'm just gonna pull in something real fast, so I get to put my little dirty stamp on it. But I'm not really gonna explore it, and now I've wasted it or burned it up in this show. Like one of the things that drew people that made people crazy was Darth Plagueis. She showed Darth Plagueis in this dude's lair or whatever. Now we don't know what that means.
Yeah,
We
but
don't know if he.
is it really confirmed? Is it really confirmed that that was Plagueis?
Yeah. It
I heard it
was.
was Plagueis.
Her. It was Darth Plagueis.
Okay, I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question. I don't know.
I know, but I've told you on numerous occasions. Just you need to believe me when I'm telling you.
We haven't had that conversation. When that show came on, you said it was Plagueis, and I was like, "How do you know?" And we never talked about it.
And then subsequently, she confirmed it, and it's been talked about all over the interwebs.
Okay,
and that's one of the things that
so, do you actually see his
mad.
face and everything?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't watch it. I
you kind of see his face. It's very much in shadow, but you kind of get
see his face.
Enough of it.
Yes. You know what you see? It's the same, almost the same exact shot of the Darth Plagueis novel, where his face is kind of the same. It looks almost like they take. It was inspired by the cover of the Darth Plagueis novel. Yeah, that's what you see of him. And so when people in Star Wars fans saw that,
so that's a prime example. What a waste! Like, why are you doing that?
That's what people were putting that there.
About. He wasn't even in the rest of it. He didn't do anything but sit there in a dark shadow and nothing happened.
And then Yoda shows up.
He's such a major character. Why would you do that?
And Yoda shows up, but again, we just see the back of Yoda's head at the very end, the last scene or whatever. A thing. And here's the thing:
like Kamala's niece.
What's that?
Like Kamala's niece.
Yes. There's Kamala's niece picture. So I would say I wanted to echo Yolanda's point about Amandla, because I thought, here's this beautiful actress. She's great. She's doing as best she can with this work, and I would have loved for the Acolyte to do well and see this adventure with these people. But so again, no shade on her, because they're only able to do the best they could with what they were given. And I would say they already started off on the wrong foot, because look, I just wish people, especially in this day of Twitter and Instagram, whatever, don't say anything. Just put your head down, do the work, because when you do the work, it's going to be good. Let
me speak to that, because one of the things that I found a little frustrating was, I mean, you know me, I am all for representation across the diaspora of the human experience.
Right.
But to your point, JD, the show wasn't about the sexuality of Osha's parents. The show wasn't about all these other things. And I just can remember the interview with Headland, and they were saying, "Oh, this is like the gayest Star Wars ever," or something like that. Like, it's like they were leading all these things. Like, personally, I was feeling like, why even lean into that? Like, the show isn't about that. And if you start making it about that, if you start trying to put forward the fact that, oh, we have lesbian witches and we have all this, when that's not even what the show is about, I kind of feel like it takes away from those characters when you start making about their. Sometimes I think it is important to talk about a person's sexuality or gender identity or whatever. In the case of this Star Wars, it wasn't. And to your point, JD, if they just, this is a great story. And the example that I always give, because when Rings of Power came out, and a lot of the same type of topics came up, because the girl power of the elf character, her name of Galadriel, and there are lots of people complaining about black elves and all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
But Power of Rings itself had story issues.
Yes.
Now, but the future episode to talk about the trailer of it looked actually for season 2 looks promising.
Yeah, it looks promising.
But I always like to compare it to House of the Dragon. They got a bunch of black people up in that. Don't make any. Doesn't come up. Dude's just black. You had some people complaining about it, but that show is so well written and it's so good. You can't any hating that is done because they make a Valerian black is lost in the fact that that brother is knocking out the park. The other black actors in there are holding it down. It's not an issue. And the House of the Dragon creators aren't making it, to my knowledge, they aren't making it an issue. They're not putting it at the forefront. Oh, we have a black person playing a Valerian, and we have a non-binary person playing the main character.
Right.
Like, she's non-binary, but
Yeah.
her character isn't, and so it doesn't matter. So
Yeah. You just let the trolls stay in Troll Town and just do your work.
exactly, just do
Yeah.
work, head down.
Yeah. So that was to me, and it's like even when I first heard that, like everybody was excited about the show. But when I started hearing the first couple things I heard about Leslie Headland talking, I don't have any beef with her other than I was like, oh, you sure you want to do this? You sure you want to go? She came in swinging like I'm gonna make all these incel heterosexual white dudes just cry, and I'm like,
right.
what are you doing? It's like why
why
don't you just make it?
What does
why?
that have to do with anything?
Yes.
Let's just tell the story, like you said.
Yeah. So
no,
that was the frustrating thing, and I think had that energy of giving the and the crazy thing is like I've also heard on the Insta webs or whatever that it's a conservative thing. Like they try to make it like Trumpers, whatever. And I'm sure a lot of it is, but it's a lot of other people too. And it's like, yo, you're alienating so many people before they've even seen your work. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what's it? Who cares? Like you said, your point about Game of Thrones, because you're always going to have. I remember when John Boyega came out. Oh, there's no black stormtroopers. I mean, it was all stupid, dumb stuff. But I thought, Force Awakens was a great start to the sequel trilogy, and then it went off the rails. But I was excited to see, the characters, and most people I think were like, okay, we'll roll with this if it's good. I think universally, out of the three in the prequel, the sequel trilogy, The Force Awakens fared better than all of them and was more critically welcome than the following two. It wasn't as divisive. Right. Let's just say that. And so, I think that's in any franchise, you got to in today's day. I'm sorry, Stranger Things. Oh, we're gonna hurt all these incels. We're coming out the 5th season of Stranger Things. It's gonna be totally gay and queer, and when it's not, and it's not that, you just put people, all these other. It magnifies the trolls and allows them to piggyback off your magnification, and it's just like this whole echo chamber that just spirals up and out of control. So I thought that was stupid, and if I could get into Kathleen Kenney's ear, she needs to be telling all these direct ixnay on any of that social stuff. Like, don't do your work. Give me a good story. Because at the end of the day, I don't think that she knows. I think she's I think she puts way too much trust in these new people that she brings in because they're apparently the new hot thing or they're great storytellers. And there's no one really to vet the story that they're telling. At least even with George Lucas, he was vetting everything. As bad as, you hated the prequels or whatever, it was his story. He had a definite vision about what he wanted to do. My only regret with him is if he would have had, his execution was horrible, but the story was there. On Acolyte, the execution horrible and the story's not there. So now you're really in a quandary because then it's like, you're dealing with all kind of kookiness.
Yolanda, for our viewers, Yolanda was on the last season of Project Greenlight. She's one of the producers. And I'm curious if this were a Project Greenlight
made by it.
Yeah. She's one of the producers on the film that was made. Go watch it. It's on HBO. It's on the Max.
Right, HBO.
Right.
Max.
If the Acolyte was in Project Greenlight, what would have been your producer notes? Would you have any?
Oh,
that's a great question. My notes would have been akin to the notes that I gave earlier in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
What I would have needed to do is navigate the context of who all was charged with giving creative feedback and notes and so forth, and where that should have been originating and driving that forward.
Right.
That's what I'll say about that. Word salad.
Yeah, she might have to be careful.
No, right.
But I would say this also. We've been talking about like how it started and how it kind of went off the rails, and during the process of it, us watching the show week after week. But then here's the other thing. I don't know if you guys have seen. I know Yolanda hasn't, but I don't know if you saw Amanda's response. She put a thing out on social media last week, and she does exactly what she shouldn't have done. Cool actress, people, and she gets on and she says, the only reason we got canceled is because the incels, the homophobic people, she takes no responsibility for the bad storytelling. And again, for an actress, I almost feel like it's even not even her place because I don't blame her for the story. I don't blame her.
Right.
She's just saying the lines that she was paid to say. And
Right.
but she had Leslie Headland's back, like as Leslie Headland didn't do anything wrong, or Leslie Headland was pitch perfect, everything was on point.
By the way, I think the pronunciation is Amandla.
What am I saying? Amandla? Okay, sorry, Amandla. Thank you. So yeah, I just think that it's that type of. It's almost like just stay off of social media. That would be my thing. Stop social media.
Yeah.
Unless it's like promoting the show, which I get or whatever. But like arguing with people back and forth. First of all, nobody has enough time in their little tweets or Instagram or whatever to really convince somebody. If somebody hates you or they don't like X, Y, because of X, Y, and Z, whatever, you're not going to change them. All it is, everybody's calcified in their position. Obviously, Amandla is calcified in her position that they could have done no wrong, that storytelling was perfect. It was exactly how it should have been. No, it was really, really bad. The execution was bad. And it's like, and y'all heard that they were trying to have Keanu Reeves with Soul.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he couldn't do it for scheduling conflicts, but imagine getting Trinity and Neo into Star Wars. They would have been playing it, that was Leslie Headland's idea. And so it came out this week and confirmed that, I'm like, oh my God.
I would not have wanted to do that.
Yeah, I'm like, everybody's like,
if you asked me what I would have not been in favor of that.
I thought it was a bait and switch. I thought it was a bait and switch that they had killed off Carrie Moss.
Carrie Ann Moss.
Carrie Ann Moss. In that first episode. That was.
No, but she was throughout the rest of the show. Like she comes back.
No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
It was just flashback.
It was flashback.
Oh, my
bad. She
bad.
comes back to, but
look at I didn't even finish the shit. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. A lot of people didn't, but that's why it's not getting picked up again. That's exactly why it's not getting picked up again. But I'm just saying, she does come back and she has important things in it, so she gets her time.
Yeah, she does have important beats. Yeah, she comes back in several episodes.
Another reason why I brought up Keanu though is because for years now people have been wanting a Riven, who's another Jedi from way 100 years earlier. Darth Riven, and everybody expected, it'd be cool to have Keanu Reeves play that. So a lot of fandom was so thankful that he didn't get into this show because it would have cut him off from playing Riven, which people see him as being that role. So it's like, But again, it's like putting things in just to.
I think they need to stop. They need to sit down for a second and rethink.
Yeah,
they need she needs to put her. I think Lucasfilm needs to get with someone who's truly knowledgeable. I'm sure that all these filmmakers would love to work in the. That's always hear in every interview. Oh, I've always loved Star Wars. I always want to play in the Star Wars sandbox.
Star Wars has made me become a film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anybody and their mama could say that, but I get the impression that a lot of these people aren't real like diehard fans. They need someone who's They need someone like a Kevin Feige who understands it and is steeped in the legend stuff. Because you go and ask these people stuff. Just vet them. Like, okay, what do you know about this? What do you know about X, Y, and Z? Because I guarantee you, if they know about the legend stories, that's who you want, because they have a sense of like what the universe is about and the books that came before before they sold it to Disney. You need people that can speak on Star Wars beyond the original trilogy or the prequels, beyond that, and before it got bought by Disney. You find someone like that who's steeped in it. Then you're gonna have, and they're a good quality filmmaker. Then you're gonna have some success.
I think that's a good stepping point. Bob, you heard it here first. What you need to do, Bob Iger.
Bob Iger.
Okay.
Bob.
He's hands off. He's hands off. He's like, hey, Lucasfilm, you need to be talking to. Say it. Say her name. Say her name. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. It's like,
speaking of which, I saw Beetlejuice last week. That movie still holds up.
All right. The first one or the second?
The old one?
The first one. Yeah, the original.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I want my girls to watch it so we can check it out. But
it's funny. I was watching it. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tune in. This has been Ron.
This is JD.
Yolanda.
And we'll see you next time.